So the only thing that could have stopped me in this case was me. But because I didn't, I had divine help. Why? Because it was my purpose. And so will you have divine help. Never take no from someone who cannot give you a yes.
Hello and welcome to Self Upgrade. So today I'm very, very excited. Like today's episode, I think that lots of people need to hear this story. A very inspiring story indeed. Some people will say it's just about hair. Well, wait until you hear the story of Melony Armstrong. And I think you will never say that sentence ever again. Melony Armstrong, a lady who came to a place where everybody and everything was telling her that her dream wasn't possible. Many people going through that situation would have said, okay, you know what? I tried. And each time I'm getting all those, obstacles in front of me. So maybe this dream will never happen. Maybe I can't manifest this dream. Well, that's not how Melony Armstrong saw the situation. She saw possibilities. She was determined to live her dream. And her story was told in this movie, in this film, Freedom Hair. So if you haven't watched it yet, this is Freedom Hair.
When you put your hands through a black woman's hair, you learn everything you ever need to know about her. Hair is a place, always a reason for women to come together.
That's good right there, right? Ooh, Lord.
Oh, yeah.
You're done.
Girl, I think I'm gonna need a cigarette.
I need to see your license. Bigology, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Is that what this place is?
My grandmother, she let me wear my hair wild one weekend. One weekend of freedom in 25 years.
Like what's always been inside of you has finally got set free.
I need to see their licenses too.
These ladies are my students. They're my trainees.
This license does give you the right to train anybody.
If you're gonna do this, you have to be sure, and you have to be brave.
If I catch you at this again, I'll close you down and may arrest you.
On what charge? Making a living? I became a braider as a way to touch and heal black women's souls. You ask her what she wants.
She says she wants the rest of her body.
This case is about black women everywhere being refused the right to earn an honest living. I know it's just hair.
There is no such thing as just hair.
The art of braiding should be set free.
And you married a very fierce woman, and I like her so much.
I like her too.
Right. Please help me to welcome our guest, Melony Armstrong, to Self Upgrade. Hello, Melony. How are you today?
Hello, I'm great. Thank you.
All right. So, Melony, can you please tell us a little bit about who you are and the inspiration behind the film? Why did you decide to produce the film, basically?
Sure. So I'm Melony Armstrong, and I am an executive producer for the film Freedom Hair. And Freedom Hair is my story of how I wanted to start a hair braiding business in the state of Mississippi. And I at the time, I was in college, and I dropped out of college in my senior year to pursue a career as an entrepreneur. So at the time I was pursuing this career as an entrepreneur, I was having issues with my hair. It was damaged, it was broken, and as a result, it was causing me not to really feel confident and good about myself. So I decided, in order to give my hair a rest, I wanted to get it braided, but I wanted it to be braided professionally. So there were no professional braiding salons in my city, so I had to travel to Memphis, Tennessee, which was like an hour and a half from my home to get my hair braided.
Oh, wow.
Yes, yes. So
Okay.
it was a long drive, but it was something I felt like I really needed at the time, because again, it was affecting my confidence and it was affecting my overall self image. So I go to Mrs. I go to Tennessee. My husband drives me to Tennessee, and I get my hair braided. Exactly 50 minutes later, the stylist was done, right? And so she turns my chair to the mirror so I can see myself. And all I can tell you is that it was like all of the lights in the room came on. And basically instantly, this entrepreneurial thing that I was feeling, and at the same time I was feeling beautiful because my hair was just amazing, and instantly it was like my confidence came back, and my positive self-image came back, and those two married, and I knew right then I wanted to be a professional hair braider.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So from there, it was interesting because hair braiding was not in my background, as far as like it wasn't something I basically did growing up. It wasn't something I did in college, etc. So I really did not know how to braid. So the first challenge was learning how to braid hair professionally. So I ended up finding a place in Atlanta, Georgia, which was like 5 hours from my home. And there was a young lady there who was starting hair braiding classes. So I returned home, and within a few months, I was sitting in a professional hair braiding class in Atlanta, Georgia. So I learned how to braid. Of course, I was a master at that time, so I had to come back home and I had to practice for quite some time, in which I did. And after practicing about 6 months, I felt like I was ready to braid, real people's hair instead of mannequins. So I started marketing myself. I started distributing flyers locally, for instance, at Walmart, laundromats, placing them on people's cars and parking lots. And I started getting business, and I started making money, and I felt good because initially I traveled to Tennessee to get my hair braided, but now I was skilled enough I could braid my own hair. And so it just, my confidence was boosted, my self image was boosted. And, I decided that this business in my home is okay. I want to be able to take this outside of my home and open up a storefront. So I thought to myself, well, who do I call to do that? I never owned a business before. I never opened a business. And so automatically I felt like, well, my business has to do with hair. Maybe I should start with calling the State Board of Cosmetology first. So I did that. And I asked the question, okay, I'm a professional hair braider and I want to open a braiding salon. What do I need to do? And I was told that I would need to go to cosmetology school for a year and a half because that's how long it took to acquire 1,500 or complete 1,500 hours worth of work. And I said, okay, well, let me ask another question. So, what in your curriculum covers hair braiding? And I was told, we don't teach hair braiding in our school. And so for a moment there, I paused and I thought, well, perhaps I did not ask the question correctly. And I said, okay, well, let me say it. Let me repeat the question. I'm a hair braider. I, I don't want to do chemicals. I don't want to do coloring. All I want to do is braid hair. So what do I need to do? And she says, well, ma'am, I understood your question. And in order for you to get a license to legally open your business, you're going to have to come to cosmetology school for 1,500 hours. It's going to take you approximately a year and a half, and it's going to cost approximately $10,000 to $15,000. And I thought, well, how? Yeah,
Oh wow. So so you have to pay all that money to go to that school, and at the end of the whole curriculum, you are not going to gain any of the skills that you need, basically. It will be
none of
just
this.
for you to get that certificate that is going to allow you to open your salon. Is
And
that
be a
so?
cosmetologist. That's correct. I could be a cosmetologist, but nothing regarding hair braiding was included in the curriculum.
Wow. So waste of money, if we can say so, because if you are paying to get, some skills, because like you said, you took some courses in hair braiding in Atlanta, Georgia, but still you were still in
Yes,
the learning process, if you can say so. And it would have been nice if, for instance, in that
yes.
school, you were paying all that money, but you were actually getting some extra skills in hair braiding.
And it was ridiculous. And it sounded ridiculous. And the only phrase that I could come up with at the time was, this just doesn't make sense. And so for I didn't realize at the time that I was operating in a law of persistence. And even though they told me what they did on the phone, I just kept calling them back and asking the same question. And so finally, after a series of calling them back and asking the same question, I was told, well, there is something called a wigologist license. And if you get this license, you will be able to legally open your business. Well, I became very excited. I was like, oh, wow, why didn't you tell me this in the beginning? What is wigology? And so she says, well, wigology doesn't have anything to do with braiding. And I was thinking, oh, wow, okay. Um, it doesn't have anything to do with braiding, but it does involve the application of synthetic and human hair. And if you get this license, you will be able to legally open your business. So I was thinking, well, how much does it cost? And I was told about $1,200 versus, 1,200 versus 10 to 15 was like a breath of fresh air. And then I was told that I asked the question, where can I go and get this license? And I was told at any cosmetology school in Mississippi. And I was thinking, finally, I'm being told something that makes a little bit more sense. So I very excitingly hang up the phone and began to call cosmetology schools starting in my own city. And one was right down the street from where I lived. And immediately when I asked the question, I would like to make an appointment to come in and enroll in the wigologist course. It was like, the wigologist is what? And I said, the wigologist course. And they said, ma'am, we don't teach that. We haven't taught wigology in this school probably since the 70s. And I was thinking, excuse me? Okay. So I hang up and I call another school. And each cosmetology school across the state, the entire state of Mississippi, told me they don't offer that course. And I thought, okay, well, this is not funny, right? So I called the Mississippi State Board of Cosmetology back, and I tell them what I was told. So the school down the street from me, they interpreted what I was told. And they basically said, well, because they are a licensed cosmetology school, they could teach the course to you if they wanted to, even though the course hasn't been taught in years, but they are legally qualified to teach it to you if they want to. They just don't want to because you'll probably be the only student. It's not going to be worth their time, effort, or money. And I thought, well. So with that information, because again, the school was just minutes from my house, I kept calling the owner of that school back in hopes of convincing her to allow me to come and take this course. Little did I know that period of time and trying to convince her was going to stretch over 2 years. So for 2 years, I kept calling the owner of the cosmetology school back in hopes of convincing her to allow me to come and take this course. So after 2 years, she gave in and she said, Melony, come and I'm gonna let you take this course. So I went through the process. I I finished the wigologist curriculum. I went to the state board. I passed the test and I became a licensed wigologist. Shortly after that, I opened my first salon, which is Naturally Speaking. We're located in Tupelo, Mississippi, and that was in 1999. So here I am. I'm happy, right? I have my business. I'm braiding hair. I'm getting better. Business starts to really boom because we're the only braiding salon in my city, right? And quickly, I realized that I need help if I want to grow my business. if I want to expand, if I want to, in modern terms, scale my business, I'm gonna have to train and hire other young women in particular to come in to help. So I said, well, the good thing about it is I'm a licensed wigologist through the state of Mississippi. So surely, because I have the um, I have the license, I have the skills, which they don't clearly have the skills, I should be able to like have these women come in and apprentice under me. So it made perfect sense to me. So I called the State Board of Cosmetology back. I gave them basically the scenario that I just gave you, only to be told, we are so sorry, Ms. Armstrong. Mississippi does not have a apprenticeship program in place as far as hair or cosmetology. And so the only way you're going to be able to have someone come into your salon to help you is they are going to have to go to cosmetology school for 1,500 hours, and then they will be able to come work in your salon. And I thought, this is just ridiculous at this point. And also, let me add this. Because the state of Mississippi has a cosmetology instructor's license, even for me to teach, I would have to. So my wigologist license was 400 hours. A cosmetology license is 1,500 hours. So I would have had to go back to school and complete the remainder hours from 400 to 15 and get my cosmetology license. And after I got my cosmetology license, I would have to go and get a instructor's license, which would have taken me another 2 years. And then it's not over. And then after I got my instructor's license, I would have to go and work in a licensed cosmetology salon for another 2 to 3 years. And I was like, you all are kidding, right? Like, you are really kidding. All this time, I have my own business. I'm running my own business, but I would have had to do all of that. And at this point, I was about fed up with the Board of Cosmetology, because it was seeming like no matter what I did, that they were just steadily, the stakes were just rising. The requirements were rising higher and higher. And I felt like if I continue to basically acquiesce to these ridiculous requirements, that it was going to be no end. And so at that time, I was seeking some type of, some type of way to fight this, but I just I wasn't sure how to go about it. And long about that time, I got introduced to a law firm called the Institute for Justice. And so that was such a blessing, because the Institute for Justice was able to educate me on my constitutional rights. And the 14th Amendment says that anyone has a right to earn an honest living. And so, because my constitutional rights were being violated,
Yeah.
I then had a right to sue the Mississippi Board of Cosmetology, and that's what I did. So, so yes, so we're in court. This is all new to me. Um, it was during this time that I really began to understand that this whole journey and this whole fight, so to speak, was basically part of my divine path. That God had actually chosen me to do this, and I was just obedient enough, and that was how I felt like, because I'm not originally from Mississippi, that I was brought to Mississippi for 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 that particular reason.
Wow. That's amazing. I mean, can you imagine that? Like, because I'm just thinking if it was someone else, the minute they start to give you all those challenges, oh, you can't do it because of this, oh, according to the law, you can't do, all the difficulties, all the barriers that they try to put in front of you. And you kept pushing for years until, like you said, you go to court and open that door for other women of color to be able to do what you were not able to do in the beginning. Where there was no way, you opened a way. And that's just, it's not given to anyone, because we don't have the same strength, psychologically. So, most of us, you have someone says, oh, no, you can't do it. Just one no. And that's it. Oh, that's it. Well, it's illegal here. So I guess I have to stop. But you didn't. Yes, yes. But, like you said, God has taken you from, the place that you are from and moved you to Mississippi because he knew that you were the woman. He chose you to, to fight that for and open that door for other women to come and do it easily. So we have to salute, your strength. And I know that you didn't finish there, but I had to, just to tell you. I'm sure that you know how brave you are, but that's just amazing. And thank you. I say thank you for all the other people who are now able to do, to do braiding without having to go through, all the difficulties that you went through.
Yes,
So yes, you are amazing. Anyway, please continue.
thank you. So with having this in mind, that this was a divine thing that was occurring, I became very conscious of my movements, and I became very conscious that this whole thing was much bigger than me. It was much it was even much bigger than me just wanting to braid hair for a living to help support my family. It was much bigger than that. And so in the process of the lawsuit, my attorneys and I decided to introduce our own bill into the legislation that would free hair braiders basically forever in Mississippi. The Board of Cosmetology, in an effort to swindle out of the lawsuit, introduced a bill. And because of the language that they had put in the bill, had their bill been passed, it would have been much harder to later for me and my attorneys to come back and change that law. Because it's not easy to change a law that is already been in place. So what we decided to do again, as a strategy to combat that, because we didn't want to chance their bill being passed. So we created our own bill with our own language, of course, and we introduced our own bill into legislation. So now you have the battle of the bills. So you have the state of cosmetology, they have a bill, and Melony Armstrong has a bill in place. And so we're fighting. I had to register as a lobbyist and began to lobby our state legislators. Something I was not, that was a new world to me. And so I did that. We got through the process. So to make a long story short, because we do have a book that's going to be coming out soon, we ended up getting our bill passed. And our bill, which is House Bill 454, that's my license plates now. House Bill 454 was passed. And, you know, the incredible thing is on the very same day that the legislation was passed into law, 300 Black women in Mississippi registered as hair braiders. Isn't that incredible? So I have to ask the question, where were these 300 women prior to the legislation? They were there along with thousands of other women. But it's something about when creativity and innovation is capped. And what was happening is the law that was in place was capping people's creativity. It was capping their innovation. So they weren't even thinking about doing this as a career. They weren't thinking because it was basically not attainable. So, but once that law was passed and those barriers and those restrictions were lifted, now you have all of these Black women coming out of the woodworks, women who were naturally gifted at doing this. And, you know, and now they're saying, I could do this. I could actually do this as a business. I could charge money and be able to support my family doing this. And so what we did was the legislation that we put into place. We took hair braiding out from under the jurisdiction of cosmetology completely, because during the process, the issue kept coming up regarding health and sanitation. So they could not defend themselves on the basis of hair braiding, because you don't even teach hair braiding. So basically, legislatures they were like saying, okay, you can't argue anything about hair braiding. You don't even teach hair braiding in your schools. So what's the real issue here? So then they began to say, well, the real issue is health and sanitation. They were saying that if hair braiders are not if they are not trained in basic health and sanitation, then, you know, they could contribute to diseases being spread or whatever. But you know the funny thing about it? So what we were able to do was we went into the cosmetology curriculum to see how much health and sanitation is covered in cosmetology. And it was so minute and so basic. So we were able to argue. So you're saying that because these people will not go to cosmetology school and get a license in cosmetology, which is going to cover, which only covers a minimum of basic health and sanitation. So that's that. In other words, that was the premise of their argument regarding basic health and sanitation. So we got smart and we said, okay, all right, okay, well, this is what we're gonna do. Since you agree that you cannot regulate the hair braiding part, we're just gonna take that from you. So hair braiding shouldn't be part of your jurisdiction anyway, right? You do agree with that, right? And so we said, well, what we're gonna do is we're going to put hair braiding under a jurisdiction that does deal with health and sanitation, and that's the Board of Health. So since it's a health and sanitation issue, let's give it to the health and sanitation experts, and that's not you, that's the Board of Health. And so that's what we did. We put a $25 registration fee in place. So when a young woman or anybody wanted to braid hair as a living, they simply called the State Board of Health. The State Board of Health sent them out a registration packet. They paid the $25. Within the registration packet contained basic health and sanitation information. The person is responsible for reading the material over. At the end of the little pamphlet contains a self-test, yes and no, and you take the self-test, and once you're finished, you take that and you post it where you're working. That could be a salon or in your home. So now let me add this. Today, that number of the 300 women that registered on the first day that the legislation was passed is over 8,000 now.
As you're talking there, I'm looking at you and I'm like, you know how many people are out there with dreams. So, their head is full of dreams, they have so many things, they have passions, but, they just feel like, oh, who am I to leave my passions? It's crazy. I cannot do this. That's why, my head right now, my heart is full of respect for you, especially when you mentioned those 300 women. Like you said, where were they? Lots of them were already doing that in their homes. They were doing that in their homes, but they didn't have the personality and the character of Melony Armstrong. So if you're watching this, you have that idea and you feel, oh, it's ridiculous. There are so many challenges. There are so many things that are, I won't be able to do this. Like, it's crazy. I can't do this. You know what? Maybe you are the Melony Armstrong of your industry or whatever you want to do. Because if Melony didn't think that she could lead that fight, there would be no change in that industry. But basically, she came and disrupted, things to make that happen. She created something that wasn't there, and instead of just waiting for someone else to come and facilitate her dream, she went for her dream. And that also paved the way for other women to be able to do that. So this is how important it is for us. No one is too small, or no one is whatever you may have, because we have so many limiting beliefs. Oh, I can't do it because I'm poor, I don't have the foundings. Oh, I can't do it because we always have those fears that stop us. and which want us to basically stay in the statu quo, like, no movement, just stay there and just wait for what? If you want something, if you have a dream in your head, there's nothing that is helping for you to achieve or to live that dream. Then you have to make those things happen. Whatever you need, you have to be the one, to bring whatever is missing, so that you can live your dream just the way Melony did. That's really inspiring. I love the story. I just do. I love it. Because, in this podcast, Self Upgrade, I talk about this all the time. Let's live our dreams. If you are lucky enough to have a dream in your head, you can't sleep at night because of that dream. Like, you keep thinking about that. You have that burning desire to make whatever, you see in your head, that, vision that you have in your head. You want to bring it to life. But, you are going to have those fears trying to stop you. So, you have to see through those fears. Go for your dream. Whatever you need, if it's not there, you need to make it, to create it, to live that dream. Because if it's in your head, it means that you have the means to bring it to life, to manifest it. And maybe other people will come, just like in Melanie's story. Maybe other people will be inspired by you going for your dream. And, so let's live our dreams. Let's, if you have that idea in your head, it's for you. You just need to find the way, to get to wherever you need to go. So this is so inspiring. I hope that if you're watching this is going to really motivate you to go for your dream. And Melony, as you were talking there, I was also thinking about the fact that this story is happening in the state of Mississippi. Obviously, we all know, like, Mississippi is in the south, of America. And we know I think everything that happened there, the story with the Deep South, I think most of us know about that. So do you think that all the difficulties and all the challenges that you went through, don't you think that there was a bit of, like, she's Black, so let's try to block?
Absolutely. Yes, absolutely. I feel that this was definitely aftermath of the things that have happened in the South. And I think that it's also interesting that originally I'm not from the South. I was born in Ohio. And so I come to the South, but I came with a different mindset. And when I look back, I can see how God was able to basically import me into Mississippi with a different mindset. So I didn't come with the same reservations, or I didn't come with the same hesitations. I came with, I was raised to ask questions. If someone tells you something and it doesn't make sense, it's okay to ask why. Why not? Why can't I do that? I grew up being, if I was told no, it wasn't always because I said so. It was explained why I'm telling you no. And so that's the mindset of when I moved to Mississippi I had. And I believe that had I been a part of of the whole fabric of the South, that when the State Board of Cosmetology gave me their reasons, I would not have questioned it. I would have just did like another young lady that I had the opportunity to meet. She was a gifted hair braider from a little girl, and her family encouraged her to pursue hair braiding after high school. And so and we're the same age. And so she went to the board of cosmetology, basically because she had a gift of hair braiding, and she wanted to create a business to do it. And they told her the same thing they told me. And what her resolve was to do was to basically abandon her dream and go into a furniture
Wow.
factory.
Wow,
And
Melody.
so when I met her at the age of 40, she had been, working in a furniture factory all her life. And after that, the beautiful thing is, after that, after the legislation was passed, do you know she quit her job in the factory and came and worked in my salon?
Oh,
A phenomenal gifted braider.
oh wow. You know what? I think you're right about what you're saying. Maybe those 300 women, and also the lady that you just told the story. That lady that you employed. I think because they were born in Mississippi, they don't know any other reality. Their reality is, that deep South that ill-treated, black people for years, and all the trauma that comes with it. So basically, they wouldn't dare, speak up basically against the master. You see, so whatever the master says is what we have to do. But you, with your character, like you said, because your family taught you to ask questions. If something is wrong, if you don't understand what is happening, ask questions. So it was a very different reality from all those women, So that's why, God empowered you to go and somehow free them and facilitate, and open the door so that they can live their dream. And that's just beautiful. That's beautiful. So I think we all need, if you are out there watching this once again, you can be the next Melony Armstrong of your industry. You don't need to be strong. You don't need to be rich or I don't know what, but you can change things. You can change things. If you have the motivation, you can change things, and not just for you, but for other people as well, which is great. So, guys, just to remind you quickly, Freedom Hair is available on Apple TV and Amazon Prime as well. But if you're in the US, you won't have any issues watching it. However, if you are in the UK, you may try Apple TV, because I did try to watch it through Amazon Prime, and it wasn't there. So try Apple TV, and Melony told us her story, and with all the ups and downs, that she encountered on her journey, you find that in the film as well. And, it makes the film really, really interesting, just like her own story that she was telling. But, you guys need to check it out. You really need to check it out. Like, it's a really, it's a lovely film. So please make sure to check it out. And it's also streaming on YouTube. So Melony will send me the link, and I'll add it in the description on YouTube, so that you can just click on it and go and watch it on YouTube as well. So Melony, in the film, the main character says, "I became a braider as a way to heal and touch Black women's souls." So could you please, just tell us what she meant by? It's beautiful, but could you just go deeper and tell us what she meant by that?
Yes. So when I was in a very low place. my hair was unhealthy. My hair needed it needed healing. My identity was so warped at the time. My self-esteem was low, and it was much of it was coming from my hair, and I didn't realize it. I did not realize how much of my identity and our identity is connected with to our hair. And so when that stylist, I listen, I walked into that salon. Yes, I was excited, but I was broken. I I did not feel good about myself. I did not feel good about my appearance, and it was coming from my hair. And somehow or another, I made the connection when the stylist turned my chair to the mirror and I saw myself. All of a sudden, all of that went away instantly. My confidence was restored. My self worth was raised. I walked into that place vibrating low. But once I saw myself in that mirror, my vibrations lifted. Again, my confidence lifted. It didn't matter that I didn't know how to braid. I was going to learn how to braid. And I didn't even realize that I wanted to transfer what I was feeling to other women. I mean, if I can feel like this because of a hairstyle, just imagine how many other women could feel like this too. If I was feeling so low because of my hair, and let me say this, I began to be very observant with little girls and women who were not happy with their hair. It affected their whole countenance. And I remember, oh my goodness, I remember doing a style on a person. And I too would turn their chair from the mirror. And once I turned their chair to the mirror and they could see their hair, they lit up like a Christmas tree. And that was such a good feeling. I wanted to be able to heal other women through the art of hair braiding. I saw it happen. I experienced it myself, and I wanted to be able to transfer the experience I had onto other women.
Wow, healing. I mean, that's beautiful. And you are right regarding hair. For me, for years, I used to work in corporate, so you will never see me with hair like this. It will always look very neat, very like as if I was trying to hide something, you know. And I used to feel like, why can't I love to, to have my hair like this. But because, when you go to work with the clients and, you have to have a certain image, they're expecting a certain image. So you have to, follow, basically. No one will tell you clearly, don't leave your hair like that. But obviously they will focus on, they will really highlight the fact that, you have to come and, in smart attire, and the hair obviously has to go with that. So so, and after leaving that job, after leaving the corporate, life, now I feel like, I can, like, my hair tells a story. My hair tells my story. It feels good. Sometimes, when I go to a place where I feel like, I have to bring my personality to that place, it just means that my hair has to be down. No hiding. This is me. Take me or leave me. You see? So your hair, like you said, is part of who you are. And if you don't like the way it looks, it's going to affect, your confidence, like you said. It's going to affect your confidence. People use their hair to express their identity. You will see people with purple hair, pink hair. It's not just because, they want to get attention, but they feel like, that's, the image that their soul wants to express at that particular time. So hair is important, like you said. And in the film, so yeah, there's a lady who said, oh, it's just hair. So what would you like to tell people who are watching this and they are feeling the same? They're like, oh, it's just hair. So what would you like to tell those people?
I would like to tell them it's not just hair, just like it's not just skin, it's not just teeth. It's a part of who we are. Your teeth are your teeth are a part of you. Your skin, your skin is a part of you. It's part of the whole package. Our hair is a part of us. It's not separate. It's not just hair, just like it's not just skin. It's not just teeth. It's not just anything. So it's a very, and let me say this. And the reason is not just anything, is because it was what the Creator gave us when we were created. I believe that the scripture says that everything that God created was good. That means my hair, that means everything about me. So it's not just that's kind of like saying, oh, it was just the earth, it's just a bird, it's just a this, or it's just an ocean. No, it is the mind of God when He created me. This is my hair is what He was thinking about. My skin color is what He was thinking about. So it's not just anything.
Yes, that's lovely. And yes, like we were saying, your hair is a tool that you can use to express different things, which is the really, the beauty in it. The film is available on Apple TV and also on Amazon Prime. And I will also put a link here for those of you who would like to watch it on YouTube, because it's also streaming on YouTube. So, Melanie, thank you so much for your time. Is there anything that you'd like to add? For instance, for people out there who have dreams and are just like, oh, I can't do that. I have to wait until they allow me, until someone comes and paves the way for me to be able to live this dream. What would you like to tell them?
I would like to tell people, never take no from someone who does not have the power to give you a yes. Never take no from someone who does not have the power to give you a yes. And ultimately, your Creator is the one who gives you the yes. When God put this in my mind, in my psyche, that was Him giving me my yes. Oh my goodness. That was my yes, because I thought it, because it entered into my thinking capacity. That was my yes. Now, as I went forward, the man said no. But let me tell you, when it is your purpose, there will be a yes on the other end of that no. And the only thing that can prevent you is if you stop and if you take that no. there's another principle that I live by. I've learned to live by, and it is this: persist until you succeed. Persist until you succeed. Success is on the other side of persistence. It's a law. It's a law. It's a divine law. The only thing that could have stopped me is me. The law couldn't even stop me, even though it was a law. I could have literally been arrested and put in jail. Why? Because it was a law. All the state board had to do was call my local police department and say, it's a woman named Melony Armstrong, and she's violating this law. We need you to go and arrest her. So the only thing that could have stopped me in this case was me. But because I didn't, I had divine help. Why? Because it was my purpose. And so will you have divine help. Never take no from someone who cannot give you a yes. I would also like to add that you can find out more about my story because that law was lifted. I too was able to become more creative and become more innovative. And I have created a hair care line, and it's called Freedom Hair by Melony. And that can be found at, thank you, that can be found at freedomhairbymelony.com. And Melony is spelled Melony. So that's Freedom Hair by Melony.com. Freedomhairbymelony.com.
Oh, wow. Yes. You know what? I'll put all the information that you need in the description. So everything that we talked about today, you'll find that in the description. So I'll put the link for you to go and watch the film on YouTube. Or once again, it's available on Apple TV and Amazon Prime. So everything will be in the description. Just have a look there and you'll have everything you need. I will also add the link to your website, Melony. So, Melony, I love what you said there about no, because as we were talking, we mentioned the fact that, many people would have given up already. The first no, oh no, you can't do that. And they will go, for instance, that lady that you hired, she was told no once and she was like, okay, let me go get a job in something that I don't like, but you have to make a living. So she went, to that in that furniture place and got a job. So, it's very important to go for your dream, just the way Melanie said. And for me, no is only a test from the universe. That's just the universe testing you. You have this dream. Do you really want this dream? So let's see. Let's see. And then it's put all those challenges in front of you, and if you give up in front of the first challenge, it means that you didn't want it, you didn't want your dream that badly. If you keep going, like Melanie said, if you keep going, you keep pushing, each time you receive, each time you get those challenges, you keep pushing, the universe is going to put a team behind you, people who are going to come and strengthen you even, to go even farther. So it's important. It's very important for us to go after our dreams. We are creators, and the spark, once you get that spark in your head, that passion get into your head, it didn't get into mine. It means that you have to bring it to life. You have to manifest it. So go for it, because if you see it, you can do it. You can get it. So Melony, thank you so much for being, so inspiring. And thank you for sharing your story with us. And once again, I hope that this story will motivate you to go after your dream and your passion. No matter what, what's the obstacle, no matter what's the challenge that you are getting right now, just go for it. It's possible. You can make it happen. So Melanie, thank you. I appreciate your time. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, so I hope you enjoyed this episode because it's really, really touched me to the core. Many of us give up too easily. And this story is a story of perseverance, of not taking no for an answer. You heard her. You heard what she thinks about no. So don't let a no block you and prevent you from living your dream. Because once again, if you are gifted with that vision in your head, you can bring it about.